What's up, guys? Eric here from MajorLeagueTrading.com with tonight's free video, and we are literally like this close to earnings season here. So as we go ahead and kind of kick off the earnings season here towards the tail end of this week, there's a couple of names worth watching, and I want to take just a quick second at the beginning of this video to make it very clear that right now markets are a little bit undecided. We'll kind of take a look at those here in a second and what's kind of taking place here, and a little bit of a breakdown between the Russell and the Nasdaq, which I think gives us some decent opportunity for tomorrow, and at least it has in the past couple of months when that's taken place. So I do really like that setting up in tomorrow. But as for earnings, you can see like Tuesday, Wednesday, we're pretty much like there's nothing on the board, right? But then Thursday and into Friday, it really starts to kick off. So Delta, one of the airlines, obviously Pepsi, some decent-sized names, Fastenal, typically pretty decent. And then the bank names, kind of kicking it off there, JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, even BlackRock, all of those kind of starting to kick it off here on Friday morning, which, again, I think is a little bit of a weird time for those names to be reporting earnings. Just Friday, morning. It's not my favorite, time. I would prefer like a Wednesday after bell or Thursday after bell. Typically, those are kind of better earnings names, but it is what it is. So we're right here, literally this close. And the point in this that I wanted to take here is that save some capital, save some mental capital, save some physical capital, all of those things here for the second half of this week. If we do get some decent trades Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, obviously, feel free to go ahead and take those. But I think the better trades are going to potentially be here towards the end of this week and then also into next week as we really start to kick off the earnings. So with that being said, the first name on the board today that actually came up for me here was HELE. So this is an earnings gap from today. Really nice gap to the upside. And right now, I'm going to be watching this thing here to see if we can kind of pull back and hold roughly opening prints here today, like right around 130.50s or so. See if this thing can get any kind of weakness over the next day or so. Maybe Nasdaq gets a bit of a gap down. This thing can spike lower and then from there start to rally. So I really like this second day earnings playing here. I would have preferred if it traded 125.17s today, but I'm starting to build my second day earnings list here as we're coming into earnings season, and the first one of the season is going to be HELE. I have no idea what this company does, literally nothing about them, but pretty decent movement today. I was able to hold this gap. It was in the morning write-up, so we're going to keep this one on watch. Now, next up here is Meta. So Meta was a trade from today, and it really should have performed better. And I want to talk about this, right, I was able to pull out, literally we're talking stupid small here. We're talking $96.75 on the day out of Meta. And it really, we were looking at this right up through here and looking for this to break over, 297.24s, start making the move higher. It had room to 300s, all of the things, right? And realistically, this should have worked. It was a gap up on the day. It had good relative strength here. You can see this gap was basically almost going to take out Friday's move, which Friday was a red bar, was a gap over a red bar daily chart, all of the things. And the key thing with this is, I just want to say, a number of people took a loss on this one here. But the key thing with this is it just got a stop out really, really hard here. And then I thought the rest of this move kind of today was rather interesting. So it goes from green to red on the day, and then back to small green here. So with this, no matter how perfect the setup is, doesn't really make a difference. Gap over red, gap under green, from the level, beautiful buy setup, beautiful sell setup, whatever it is, it can still fail. Sometimes trades just don't work. This looked really, really, really good, and it should have probably worked better than what it did. Nonetheless, here, it ends up failing on the day. But tomorrow still has some potential here. I do think it wants to push up through this 297.24s eventually and make that push up in towards 300 here out of Meta. Now, in terms of the markets, overall indices here, really quickly, just looking at the Nasdaq, here's the action in which we had from today. So we sold off, we rallied back, we sold off, we made new lows, and then we managed to kind of rally that back. Small poke into new highs there at the end of the day, but nothing really too great on the day, you could argue, right? Potentially a failure to go lower pattern right now with a daily chart here. So I like this for more upside. And the reason in which I like it even more is that this is what the Russell ended up doing today. So Russell comes back really, really nicely today while NASDAQ has weakness. And every time we've seen this over the past few months, we end up getting a little bit of weakness in the Russell the next day and some strength out of the NASDAQ. Now, will this go for a second day move? Do we see a little bit more Russell strength, some NASDAQ weakness tomorrow? And then we see it kind of, into Wednesday? I don't really know. But the key thing I'm watching here is, can we see some Russell weakness and some NASDAQ strength and let this go back in the other direction here? So right now, as of the start of this week, this is my favorite preferred trade. I just want a little bit more data, see it kind of set up, and those things start to play out. So anyway, that's what I have for right now. Pretty slow start to the week overall for me. There was a couple of names that ended up moving rather well. Unfortunately, just unable to really capitalize on any of those here, just kind of starting off the week a little slow. But Lowe's here came out swinging on the day. This one, I got to say, is a pretty decent miss for me. But really, really nice move in there. Almost traded up right into that 229.22s. And what I have to keep reminding myself here, and I said it today in the morning write-up, I said it in the Discord, and all of the things here, is that we are basically right at the start of earnings season, as I said in the beginning of this video. So I'm not going to get too concerned here if I do end up missing a play or two over the course of the next couple of days, as next week that really starts to kind of unfold here. So anyways, that's what I got for tonight's free video. Take care. Hope it helps. As always, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.